I'm making my husband cancel his trip away with the boys because I need help with our newborn baby. Yet he thinks he's the one who deserves a rest. I, 30 female, gave birth to our first child, Amelia, 2 months ago. Being a first time mom has been both beautiful and overwhelming. My husband, Brian, 32 male, was incredibly supportive during the pregnancy and promised that after Amelia was born, he would be there for me every step of the way, especially during those challenging first few months. Before Amelia was born, Ryan and his friends had been planning a guys only trip for this summer, a week-long vacation to a cabin in the mountains for hiking, fishing, and bonding. When the trip was being discussed, I reminded Ryan that Amelia would only be a few months old and we would be deep in the newborn phase. He reassured me that if things got too tough, he would cancel the trip to help me out, and I trusted him. Now that Amelia is here, things have been harder than I anticipated. Between the sleepless nights, breastfeeding struggles, and just trying to adjust to motherhood, I've been feeling overwhelmed. Ryan has been helpful, but I can tell he's excited about this trip, which is coming up next month. Last week, I asked Ryan if he could consider canceling the trip, reminding him of his promise. I told him that I'm struggling and that having him gone for a whole week would be really tough on me. He seemed surprised and a bit hurt that I was asking him to cancel. He said he's been looking forward to this trip for months and that he needs a break too. He also pointed out that his parents live nearby and could help if I needed support while he was away. I understand that Ryan needs a break and wants to spend time with his friends, but I can't help feeling like this is a time when I really need him by my side. I tried to explain that while I appreciate his parents' help, it's not the same as having him here. Ryan said that I'm being unfair by asking him to cancel the trip after all the planning that went into it, and that I need to trust him to make sure I'm supported even if he's not physically there. Now we're at a bit of a standoff. Some of my friends think I should let him go, saying that it's important for him to have some time away, especially after all the stress of becoming a new dad. But others agree that it's too soon for him to take off for a week and that he should prioritize being home with me and Amelia. This situation has caused a lot of tension between my husband and me, and now I'm questioning whether I'm being unreasonable. So, am I wrong for asking my husband to cancel a trip with the boys to help me with our newborn after he promised he would? Relevant comments. Comment 1, you were uncomfortable for 9 months. You went through labor. You are now feeding. What does he need a break from? He was inconsiderate when he planned this trip, and he's being even more unreasonable now that he thinks it's okay to leave for an entire week when you're already overwhelmed. It doesn't seem like you'd want his parents to stay for that week while he's gone. This made me furious. I hope this is his only misstep, but I doubt it. Comment 2, he agreed he would cancel the trip if necessary, but now that you're asking him to hold to his word, he's acting like it's unfair. Planning a trip with his friends a few months after your due date was poor judgment. He's a dad now, he should be prioritizing his family. No, his parents living nearby doesn't make up for it. And no, it's not reasonable for him to expect you to trust him to make sure you're supported even though he's not physically there. This is his baby. He should be physically present, not just supporting you, but also taking care of his child whom you are still recovering from, carrying and giving birth to. You are not being unfair, he is being irresponsible. Comment 3, I'm shocked he planned this trip at all. Update 1, hey everyone, I just wanted to give a quick update after reading through most of the replies. I was honestly overwhelmed by the amount of support and understanding I received. Thank you so much to everyone who took the time to respond. Your kind words and thoughtful advice really helped me feel less alone in this situation. A lot of you suggested that I should also take a week off, letting Ryan stay with Amelia to get a break for myself. I really appreciate the sentiment behind that suggestion. There are a couple of reasons why it's not realistic for me right now. First of all, I'm feeding the baby, so being away from Amelia for that long would be really difficult logistically. Beyond that, and this is something I know I need to work on, I just don't feel comfortable being away from my baby yet. I know it's not healthy to feel like I can't have her out of my sight, but I can't help it. I guess it's just that new mom anxiety that's really hard to shake. I've been debating whether or not to show Ryan these comments. I'm worried that reading it might hurt his feelings, but I'm definitely going to have another conversation with him about everything. I'm willing to compromise and let him go on the trip, but I think a whole week is just too much. I'm leaning towards suggesting that he limit the trip to a maximum of 3 nights, so he can still have some time away with his friends, but not be gone for an entire week. I'll update again after we've talked. Thanks again for all the support, everyone. It really means a lot to me. Update 2, Hey everyone, I just wanted to share another update after having a very long and emotional talk with Ryan. I won't get into every detail of our conversation, but I'll touch on the most important points. After putting Amelia to bed, I went straight to bed myself, feeling utterly exhausted. Ryan was already asleep, but for some reason, the weight of everything just hit me all at once and I started crying uncontrollably. My sabing woke Ryan up and he immediately asked me what was wrong. I told him that I was just tired, but then I opened up about how anxious I've been feeling about his trip and being left alone with Amelia. I admitted something I've been reluctant to say out loud, that Ryan hasn't been as involved as I thought he would be. This was one of my biggest fears when we found out we were having a baby. For context, Ryan has a rocky relationship with his own dad. I won't go into detail about why his dad isn't the best, but his mom, my mother in law, remarried when Ryan was in middle school, and his dad wasn't very present in his life. Ryan has expressed to me before that becoming a father was scary for him because he's afraid of being a bad one, just like his dad. When he first told me that, I thought it would make him into a great father because it showed how much he cared about being a good dad. Long before we were even pregnant, when I vented to him about all of this, at first he tried to defend himself. He admitted that he's been freaking out about having a baby for so long and just didn't want to tell me. He said he didn't want to stress me out while I was pregnant because he knows how much I've always wanted to be a mother. Hearing him say that made me feel guilty, like I hadn't seen how much he's been struggling internally. I had tried to convince him that he was going to be a great dad when we had this conversation long ago, and now it all felt more complicated. I thought to myself, this can't go on much longer. I realized that if he was going to keep pulling away like this, I didn't know if I could handle it. So I asked him, is this what our life is going to look like from now on? Me with Amelia and you away? Because if it is Ryan, then I don't think I can continue on like this. Ryan told me to calm down and assured me that he wasn't going anywhere. Then he got really emotional. He even started to tear up. He said he didn't want to turn into his dad and that he hadn't realized that going on this trip could be a preliminary step toward becoming the absentee father he feared he might be. He apologized for not considering me and Amelia as much as he should have. Long story short, Ryan called his friends and told them he wouldn't be able to make the trip. He's even started planning a little family getaway for the three of us next year when Amelia is a bit older. It was a tough conversation, but I feel like we're on the same page now, and I'm hopeful that things will get better from here. Thanks again to everyone for your support and advice. It's been an emotional roller coaster, but I'm grateful for this community helping me navigate it. Thank you. Relevant comments. Comment 1. That's awesome. You both worked it out for the first year. Even thinking about going away for a week is inconsiderate. Yes, he might have had his struggles, but yours were undoubtedly more intense, both mentally and physically. Comment 2. It sounds like he needed to come to grips with the fact that he was psychologically pulling away. I hope he becomes the dad your little girl deserves and the husband you need. And please share this with him. Being a girl dad is fantastic. These rough early months with a tiny baby will soon turn into toothless smiles and an active toddler. And before you know it, that will be replaced by a jabbering little girl who looks at her daddy with love in a way you never knew. Enjoy the nights where she sleeps and snuggles you, knowing she's safe even if you can't get a wink in. Because one day it will end and you will miss it. I've loved my journey, and I hope you do too.